The stitch marker is attached. The eyes are installed between round 7 and round 8. First, find the positions of round 7 and round 8. Round 1. Round 8. Insert the sewing needle between round 7 and round 8. Next, from the spot extended from the stitch marker, count 8 stitches to the left and right. That is where you'll place the eyes. Extend from the stitch marker here. Then count 8 stitches. Eight stitches. This is where the first eye should be. Hang a stitch marker here to mark it. On the other side, do the same. Extend from the stitch marker here. Count 8 stitches. Place a stitch marker here too. Let's open up the fabric. There are 12 stitches between the two eyes. Let's count the stitches between to make sure it's right. The stitch count is correct. Take out the eyes. Insert the eyes into the spots we marked. Unfold the fabric. Then, double-check if the eyes are symmetrical on both sides. Then, flip the fabric to the back side. Attach the safety back pieces. If this is for kids to play with, it's best to sew the eyes on with yarn, because safety eyes are not 100% safely secured. The eyes are now attached. Next, crochet round 13. Put your crochet hook back into the loop. Then pull the working yarn tight. Adjust the loop size. Wrap the yarn around your hand. In round 13, crochet 1 decrease stitch followed by 5 single crochet as one sequence. Repeat this sequence 4 times. First, remove the stitch marker. The first sequence. Start by crocheting 1 decrease stitch. A decrease stitch means combining 2 stitches into one. Insert your crochet hook through the front loop of the first stitch. Insert the crochet hook from the front of the stitch. Pull the hook through the middle of the stitch like this. Insert the crochet hook from the front of the next stitch. Pull it out through the middle of the stitch. There are 3 loops on the hook now. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops on your crochet hook. 2 loops remain on the hook. Yarn over again. Then pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. And just like that, you've completed 1 decrease stitch. Mark the first stitch of round 13 with the stitch marker. Next, crochet 5 single crochet. And just like that, the first sequence is done. For the second sequence, start with a decrease stitch. Insert the crochet hook from the front of the next stitch, and pull it through the middle of the stitch. Insert your crochet hook through the front loop of the next stitch. Then yarn over, and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over the crochet hook again and pull the yarn through the 2 loops left on the hook. 1 decrease stitch is done. Next, crochet 5 single crochet. That finishes the second sequence. For the third sequence, start with a decrease stitch. Then crochet 5 single crochet. The third sequence is done. For the fourth sequence, start with a decrease stitch. Then crochet 5 single crochet. The fourth sequence is done. Round 13 is finished. In round 14, crochet a single crochet followed by 1 decrease stitch as a sequence. Repeat this sequence 6 times. For the first sequence, start by crocheting to single crochet. Use the stitch marker to mark the first stitch of round 14. Then crochet 1 decrease stitch. The first sequence is completed. For the second sequence, crochet to single crochet first. Then crochet 1 decrease stitch. The second sequence is completed. For the third sequence, start by crocheting to single crochet. Then crochet 1 decrease stitch. The third sequence is done. The remaining 3 sequences are crocheted exactly the same way as the first 3 sequences. Please crochet them on your own. All 6 sequences are done. Round 14 is finished. Now, pull the loop big. Remove your crochet hook. We need to stuff the head with stuffing cotton. Take out some stuffing cotton. Tear and fluff the stuffing cotton. Then add small amounts into the head multiple times until it's fully stuffed. Stuff it until it's nice and full like this. Next, round 15. We'll crochet 1 decrease stitch and 1 single crochet as a sequence. Repeat the sequence 6 times. Insert the crochet hook back into the loop, then pull the working yarn. Adjust the loop's eyes. Place the yarn back on your hand. Since we added stuffing cotton here, use your fingers to press the stuffing cotton while crocheting. This helps prevent pulling the stuffing cotton out while you work. Press the stuffing cotton down. Let's start crocheting the first sequence of round 15. First, make a decrease stitch. Insert your crochet hook through the front loop of the first stitch. Then insert hook through the front loop of the next stitch. Yarn over with your crochet hook and pull through the first 2 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over again. Then pull through the remaining 2 loops on the hook. 1 decrease stitch is done. Mark the first stitch. Then, crochet a single crochet. The first sequence is done. For the second sequence, start with a decrease stitch. Then, crochet a single crochet. The second sequence is completed. For the third sequence, start with a decrease stitch. Then, crochet a single crochet. The third sequence is done. The last 3 sequences are crocheted exactly the same way as the first 3 sequences. Please crochet them on your own. All 6 sequences are finished. Round 15 is completed. Next, round 16. Crochet for decrease stitches. And then skip for stitches without crocheting. You can add a bit more stuffing cotton inside now. If you feel the stuffing isn't full enough, you can keep adding more stuffing cotton. Take off the stitch marker. Hold the yarn on hand again. Press the stuffing gently with your fingers. This helps stop the stuffing from pulling out while you crochet. The first one. Mark the first stitch. The second one. The third one. The fourth one. For decrease stitches are done. Leave the last 4 stitches unworked. Pull the loop bigger and remove the hook. Leave about a 6-inch yarn tail and cut the yarn. Pull the yarn tail out and tighten it. Now take out a sewing needle. Use the sewing needle to close up this hole. Thread the yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Pick up the front loops of the last round to close it. You can now remove the stitch marker. Insert the needle only through the front loops of the last round. Then, pull it tight. This hole is closed. Thread the yarn tail into the center. Then pull it out from anywhere. Pull it tight. Finally, weave the yarn tail through the fabrics several more times. Trim off the extra yarn tail. The head is now finished. This eye looks a little crooked. You can insert a sewing needle right next to the eye. Adjust it a bit. Press down while adjusting. Straighten the eye's position. Adjust the other eye too. The head is done.